Alright, sluts, so if you guys find these stories from my childhood entertaining, please leave a rating or favorite or whatever the hell you want, and I will do more in the future. Maybe even request a topic. Who knows? Maybe something ridiculous in my past has happened that pertains to your interests. So, anyway, on to the story. This happens way back in the land of 3rd or 4th grade. I don't know, I'm pretty sure it was 4th grade. I know I was 9 or 10 years old. I'm pretty sure that's 4th grade. So, basically, put yourself in a recess situation. Now, I didn't go to a big public school. I went to a fairly small private school, and so there weren't very many activities that you could enjoy during recess. There was a little kind of, subpar playground, and then there was about 100 yards worth of blacktop as the parking lot, and then after the parking lot, there was a big field that they wouldn't let us play on. So they made us play football on pavement that was horribly hilled, and so whatever team started on the top always won, like it was pretty much inevitable. And they wouldn't let us ever play on the goddamn grass. It was like, are you kidding? Kids get hurt every day because we played where you had to push the person down, basically, because otherwise you get a bunch of bastard cheaters who just say, oh no, you didn't touch me, you didn't touch me, and everybody on their team's like, yeah, you didn't touch him, you didn't touch him, and everybody on your team's like, yeah-huh, yeah-huh, and it just deteriorates into a yeah-huh, nuh-uh battle. And so we figured the easier way to do it was just to push each other down a little bit, get a little scrape, never really hurt too bad unless you were a little wimpy kid, and then if you really made a big scene and you cried, the teacher would come down and say we couldn't play anymore, and then that person became the pariah for the week. So all of this to say, that has nothing to do with this story. This story takes place on the playground, and every day during 4th and 5th grade, I would go up to the playground for the first part of recess, and I would spin the tire swing, and I would hardly ever ride the tire swing. I just got a lot of joy out of spinning it as fast as I could while there were people on there, seeing if I could get them to kind of fly off of it. And to put a little bit of context in here, this is one of those standard playground tire swings that doesn't just have one tire coming down, so the tire's hanging vertically. It has one chain hanging down and then 3 chains diverging from that to go to one point on the tire. And so you actually sat on the tire kind of horizontally, and so you could put more than one person on there. And what that made for is that it meant you could spin it incredibly fast. And I always just was the person who could spin it the hardest, and so I would spend a lot of time there. And there was always this one girl in my class, I still remember her name. Her name was Rebecca, and every day she would come up for a few seconds, and then I would say, hey, you want to ride the tire swing? You want to ride it? She's like, oh no, you'll spin it too fast. I get motion sick or something like that. And I was like, oh, all right, never mind. Just go do your thing. And then she said she was motion sick, and then she would go get on the regular swings, which were just adjacent to the tire swing, and that really didn't make any sense, but who knows, to each their own. And then one day, after about a week of peer pressure, because me and my friend were like, we got to get Rebecca on this thing, and we're going to spin it so freaking fast, we're going to spin it so fast. And at first it started out, we're like, yeah, we're going to get her to enjoy the tire swing, and then it quickly deteriorated into us saying, we are going to spin her so fast, she's just going to vomit and freak out, and that'll be so funny, because when you're a 9 or 10-year-old kid, that sounds like a lot of fun. It sounds hilarious, and we didn't really think of the repercussions of our actions. And so for about a week, me and my friend, every time she would come out there, we'd kind of go from the friendly request to join the tire swing club into an overt, hey, do this or you're a total, puss, except we wouldn't say pussy because that was a totally naughty word back then. Even if you said sucks, people were like, telling, and just doing all that shit. And so every day for about a week, we would wait there, ask her, and every day she would decline until one day, I guess she had just gotten so tired of it, she just was like, you know what, fine, I'll ride it. I'll ride it as long as you guys promise that you're not going to spin it too fast, and you're going to stop it as soon as I request that you stop it. And I was like, oh yeah, for sure, definitely, you can trust me. I'm just a 9, 10-year-old little boy who just has no conception of my actions and just doing whatever the hell I want because it sounds fun in the moment. You can totally trust me because I'm responsible. And of course, stupidly enough, she did get on the tire swing, which I kind of have to place part of the blame on her because she wasn't some idiot who hadn't known me. I was doing this all the time, just spinning people as fast as I could, and for the most part, kids enjoyed it. They would get on there, obviously trying to have a good time, and most kids love to be spun very quickly. And so she hopped on, and I started off kind of slow, and I was at like 50% speed of what most kids enjoyed, and she started to kind of like lean back a little bit and sway, and like she started to like kind of say, I don't know how much longer I can do it, I don't know how much longer, just keep it at this speed. And upon hearing keep it at this speed, there must have been some some sort of a little bit of mistranslation there, because what I did was I went up to full blast, 150% immediately, just spinning, and then my friend jumped in on the other side of it, and because there were 3 chains, we could both start spinning, and so then there wasn't even any side sway. She was just basically like a drill going into the ground. Like, had you released her, I guarantee, if I understand physics correctly, she just would have floated. She just would have floated right there. She was going so goddamn fast, and so we just kept spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning, and she immediately starts, like, clutching all 3 of the chains as hard as she can, because she's about to fly off, because the centrifugal force is so powerful it's going to throw her off of this goddamn tire. And she starts yelling and screaming and going, let me off, please let me off, I'm going to get sick, I'm going to get sick. And of course, people said they were going to get sick on the tire swing all the time. That was a pretty normal thing. They always would say it, and nobody would ever do it. Nobody would ever get to the point where you got sick. But then again, we had never spun someone this hard and this viciously, and so we just kept going, and we probably did that for about 45 seconds. And that may not sound like a long time, but imagine just spinning ferociously for like a 45 seconds to a minute and a half, just bang, bang, bam, 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 just so fast that the whole world is a blur around you, and you feel like you're just in a whole new dimension. And then eventually I think I probably stopped spinning her because my arms got tired, not because I had any, remote feeling of empathy for her sitting there screaming for me to stop. And it's a real surprise the teacher didn't come over, because she was loud as shit that day, but everybody around was just laughing, just having a good time, because we were kids, we didn't know anything could happen. And then as it starts to slow down, and as it's kind of stabilizing, it would have been better if this had happened when it was spinning really quickly, but it didn't. She was spinning down, and probably down to about 60 RPM, like 1 rotation a second, and she just yaks, just vomits right off the side. Thankfully, she didn't do it right onto me or my friend. Magically, it kind of just went off to the side and then sprayed over a little bit, but she was just so sick. And then instead of even running to tell a teacher afterward, after she spewed all of this putrid bile from her mouth, which I should mention, recess was right after lunch, so that was all the fresh, hot, nasty shit they feed kids because they know they'll eat whatever. Maybe it was pizza day, I don't know. It was probably pizza day. I distinctly remember a few pepperonis intermingled in that nasty putrid vomit. And so then she got off, and immediately the first thing you think of as a kid when something like that happens is me and my friend were like, oh shit, don't tell the teacher, we're gonna get in trouble. And she must have felt so shitty, because she didn't say a word, she didn't get mad at us, she just immediately walked over to the grass to the side of the playground and just laid down and just laid there like someone had just shot her and she was recovering from a serious mortal injury, and she just laid there, didn't say anything for the rest of recess. And then eventually she told on us, and we got in a little bit of trouble, but we just both played it off like, oh, we thought she was having a good time, just kind of like that. So anyway, that's my story of spinning a girl so hard on a tire swing when she asked not to be, that she vomited and almost got it all over me. It would have been a better story had it gotten on me, but almost, it's worth it that it didn't get on me. It's probably worth it in the long run. That would have been pretty gross, and I would have been called like Puke Kid or something for a while. But I have another great story for that playground, so if you guys want to hear that one, it involves 2 idiots breaking bones at the same time. So feel free to leave a like and a favorite and tell me if you want to hear that. And that's all I have to say for now, and I love you.